Coming up, a battle between two Heisman winners. As Baker Mayfield looks to go 3-0 against Joe Burrow, it's the Browns and the Bengals, and it's coming up next.
With the Ohio River and the hills of Kentucky just to our right, we welcome you into Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. This crowd loves their orange and black. The scene just a short time ago, they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. We're ready for football as the Bengals get set to do battle with the Cleveland Browns. To my left, Charles Davis. And Charles, you focus on this Bengal team entering play. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for the Browns here, they're halfway home, looking good at a perfect 8-0.
And not much to complain about so far, is there? I'd have to say they're the best team in the NFL through the first half of the year.
The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final 2 bring us as we're off in Week 9? Donovan Peoples-Jones now from the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. And for the first time, here comes the Cleveland Browns offense. Quarterbacked by Baker Mayfield, fourth-year man from Oklahoma.
And while we can quibble a little bit about statistics, to me, Baker Mayfield's coming off his best season yet. 26 touchdown passes, cut way down on his turnovers, and led the Browns to a playoff victory for the first time since 1994. This young man continues to mature as both a passer and a leader.
They run on first down, but it only produces a gain of 2. It's second down now. So, CD, you look at this offense and what they've been able to do. 8-0, perfect through the first 2 months of the year. Second half of the season still to come. We get that. But what kind of a percentage chance do you think that they have of running the table?
Partner, I think it's hard to say because history would tell us that the chances aren't good at all. We've seen a lot of good teams get to this point, and then they have that one bad week and takes them out of the running. I'm going to say 25%, and I feel like I'm being generous with that number. And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Mayfield hands it off to Chubb. And he puts his head down and gets up to the 42 for a gain of about 6. Now this defense for the Bengals, they really played well a week ago in that win over the Jets.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and trying to attack them this week because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver?
Now a throw complete to his fullback out of the backfield.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the next step in utilizing this position is to actually utilize more of a scat back in this spot because we saw the catch there, right? He made it. But he's a bigger, stronger guy, maybe not quite as elusive as maybe someone else you would put there.
Yeah, didn't get the big yardage there you might out of a smaller back. And he is going to have a Browns first down, and he's going to have it by plenty, able to get 8 yards there on 3rd and 2. Defense had a chance to get off the field here on the opening drive, couldn't do it.
I know that we go into these meetings with coaches, and sometimes maybe we can get, a little bit numb because they're always going to talk about how important 3rd down is, aren't they? Offense and defense. In this case, one capitalized, and the other, as you said, had a chance to get off the field and didn't get it done.
So they'll come up in Bengals territory now with a 1st and 10 at the 47. Now Mayfield. Quickly into the hands of Beckham. And he's got this down to the 35. That catch now puts him on the doorstep of 500. It's his 499th reception. On 1st down, they'll run with Chubb. And inside the 20 before he's brought down.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I think you'd have to say Nick Chubb, pound for pound, one of the most powerful runners in the NFL. He proved it there.
And with a guy his size, you have to know defensively that arm tackles aren't going to fly with him. You have to be able to wrap up, or else he can just brush tacklers aside like they're not even there.
And the next-gen stats shows us the tale of how much yardage he was able to pick up after the initial contact. So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. And he's got it. And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. He has now hit number 500. Charles, that is his 500th NFL career catch.
Definitely worthy of applause, but I remember when 500 meant you were going to the Hall of Fame. Nowadays, in today's football, 500 puts you on the path, a significant number.
First and goal, a chance for an early statement here on the road. They'll try and run it in with Janovich, the fullback. And he's in. Touchdown, Browns. Andy Janovich, his first touchdown on the year. And the Browns take it right down the field and score on the opening drive. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Cody Parkey is on now for the point after. It's up and through to make it 7-0 Browns. That time a 9-play drive. And it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. Now after the score, it's Parkey on to kick it away. Phillips now from the end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Cost him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. Time to see this Bengals offense here as they get set for their first drive. And under center, of course, is the #1 pick in the 2020 draft now in year number 2, Joe Burrow.
And you and I both know that any win is a good win, and that's what they did last week. But there's also plenty for him to work on in his game, wasn't there?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, an interception. Yeah, you know, he wants to increase that a little bit in terms of ratio. But first and foremost, they did win the game.
And some room to maneuver. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be, right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Here's Burrow. He gets this in the hands of Mixon. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that'll make it 2nd and short. And Joe Burrow in year number 2, moving around pretty good considering the seriousness of his injury last year. If you're a defensive coordinator here, what do you try to do to slow Joe Burrow down?
I think you want him to be in rhythm. I think you want him to be on time. And normally, you want to take that away from a quarterback, make him hold it a little bit longer. But when he has a chance to maneuver around the pocket, sometimes get out of it, big plays result. I want him throwing the ball on time and then tackling the receivers so there's no extra yardage.
So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. After the penalty, it's Mixon. And he'll get this up to about the 40. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Here we go.
Burrow on 3rd down. That's caught by the tight end, Drew Sample. And he is going to have a Bengals 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now at the 49-yard line. They're passing here, Joe Burrow. Oh, he'll let one go deep for Higgins. And that is incomplete. So this rivalry, Charles, here in the Buckeye State, Cincinnati and Cleveland, you know, you felt like for a while it took a dip as these two franchises struggled, but now I think this rivalry is budding again as one of the best under-the-radar rivalries in the NFL.
I agree with you absolutely, because both of these teams have the arrow pointing up. They've kind of solved their quarterback issues. They're building up their rosters. But one of the most defining moments of this rivalry to me wasn't even in a Browns-Bengals game. It was a Seahawks-Bengals game. But head coach Sam White addressed the crowd and emphasized that Cincinnati was the place to be.
Well, Charles, I think his exact words were, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter from Cincinnati. It's the Bengals with the football here as they've got it with a 1st and 10.
Here we go. Here we go.
Throwing again, it's Burrow. Over the middle, he finds Higgins. Now he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
On 2nd down, here's Mixon. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Now Joe Mixon. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
Because his primary job is defending against the pass, you don't often see a cornerback making tackles in the backfield. But he's playing run all the way here.
A rare misstep on that last play because the drive has been strong, but now it's 2nd and 12. Burrow looking to pass. Got an open man. That's C.J. Uzomah. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
And Brandon, as you know, sometimes it's a lot tougher to run with these tight ends nowadays in the NFL. They're just bigger wide receivers. He lined up on the left side of the formation, ran a drag route across the field, and tried to work his way open. He was able to make the catch, but the defenders were there. Couldn't do a whole lot with it afterwards.
Let's go.
Burrow will throw. Got a man. It's Chase. He completes it. And the Bengals are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. First and goal, and a chance to get that initial touchdown right back. They'll give it to Mixon, and he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. Joe Mixon hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Bengals are an extra point away from tying up this football game. So it was the passing game that got him down here, but closer to the goal line, it's the running game that gets him home.
Certainly appears that they lulled the defense into thinking that the passing game was going to be it the entire drive. Nice change up there going to the running game to get them over the goal line.
Now Steven Gostkowski on for the extra point. It's up and good, and we're tied at 7 here in quarter number 2. That one in the books as a 12-play drive. And it all culminated in the touchdown run coming from Joe Mixon. Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. Now Donovan Peoples-Jones. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. Second drive coming up here for Cleveland as they return to the field on offense. They're at the halfway point of the season, Charles. 8-0. What a great start. Clearly a Super Bowl contender, if not the outright favorite, through 2 months to win the whole thing.
Well, there aren't too many bad things you can say right now because this team is playing pretty well. They've had a couple of injuries. That could plague them down the stretch. But their intensity doesn't waver. I think the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through them in the playoffs. And if you're on their road, things could be bumpy for you.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
Handoff comes to Chubb, and this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
So their task a little bit more difficult now. 2nd and 13 that they're walking up on. Play fake. Mayfield. It's caught by Hooper. Touchdown, Browns. Austin Hooper. His third touchdown now on the year. And the Browns have taken the lead.
Well, if the plan is to come in here and go toe-to-toe with these guys, it certainly does not hurt if you hit them with a big shot along the way, too.
That's got to give them some confidence. And the other thing right now, it quiets this crowd, at least for the time being.
Yeah, that is what is called the intended consequence of their actions.
Now Parkey for the extra point. And he's got it. It's now a 14-7 ball game. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it ends with a touchdown for Cleveland. Now after the score, it's Parkey on to kick it away. Phillips, he's not going to bring this one out, so they will begin the drive at the 25. Joe Mixon and the rest of his offense making their way back onto the field. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. Back to Mixon on second down. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
You better get in the weight room, son. I'm too strong out here. Too big for you.
We've hit the 2-minute mark of the second quarter. 14-7. Remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. That one complete to the former Seminole, Auden Tate.
Come on, baby.
Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. They will throw on first down with Burrow. And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack. And Burrow's saying, let's go, let's go. Another try after the first down sack. Burrow caught right side, Tate. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. Now it's Burrow. Oh, he'll let one go deep for Higgins. And this is caught inside the 5. And he takes it all the way down to the 3. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. A chance now to get even before the break as they come up first and goal. Here's Burrow setting up to throw it. Now Burrow loses the football. And this is picked up by the Browns. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Oftentimes you say some guys have a knack for creating turnovers. He forced a fumble last week, forces another one.
And one of my good coaching buddies, Frank Delano, always told me, hey, Davis, creating turnovers, it's not as much about skill as it is about desire.
Oh, I thought it was going to be will, because will rhyme with skill.
Come on, man.
But desire. We'll go with desire.
What are you, the rhyme master now?
The Browns drive about to get started as they'll take over with just under a minute left to play. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And this one nearly picked off. Kind of surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but get away it does, and it's second down. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Throwing, Mayfield. That one is caught by Hunt. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Play action now. Here's Mayfield. And that nearly a turnover, but it's incomplete. Oh, fortunate to retain possession there, and it's 2nd down.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Mayfield on play action. And his throw here's incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Mayfield off the play fake. And finding the tight end Hooper. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40.
We often hear the phrase sure-handed tight ends, and he certainly fits into that category. Plus, he's got a quarterback who knows to look his way when they need a big pickup. And on this play, he finds him for the 1st down.
They go play action. Mayfield. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Logan Wilson. The blitz works to perfection as he gets in there to dump him for a loss of 8.
Well, competition comes up in so many different ways. And right now, this unit, their competition is who's going to get to the quarterback the most times. Had about 5 sacks last week. We just saw their first one of this game.
So we come upon halftime, and it's the visiting Browns with the lead. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, all right, Brandon, thank you very much. Hi again, everyone. Let's get you caught up with what's going on around the NFL as we are officially into the 2nd half of the season. We begin with the Battle of the Purple. Minnesota squaring off against Baltimore. And it's the Ravens who have the lead as they play the 2nd quarter. Lamar Jackson has a touchdown pass. From there, we head to the Big Easy to check on the Saints at home in the Superdome. And at this point, they trail the visiting Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons trying to gut this one out, as it would be a good victory for them if they could get it. Finally, we'll save the biggest for last as we head to AT&T Stadium to see what's happening with the Cowboys at home in Arlington. And they've got the lead over the visiting Denver Broncos. C.D. Lamb, a touchdown reception. On to a look at the next-gen stats for the Browns in that first half. And even though they've got the lead, they're likely going over ways they can improve the running game, as they didn't find a whole lot of success in those first 2 quarters. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, they too didn't do a whole lot in terms of rushing efficiency in that first half, as you can tell by the numbers there. These two teams making their final adjustments for the second half. And to bring it your way, we go back up to Cincinnati and Brandon Gott.
Okay, Coach, yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. The Bengals with work to do in this third quarter, but they'll get the football first as we are back underway. To return it, Darius Phillips. And he won't quite make it to the 25.
Let's go.
The Bengal offense ready to go here to start the third quarter. And they're on the short end of the scoreboard here. Charles, what adjustments, if any, do you think they need to make for the second half?
Well, paraphrasing the gold medal hockey winning coach Herb Brooks, I just say you continue to play your game. Throw the ball. They had success doing it in the first half, so make sure you keep getting the ball to your playmakers, a little bit more to the perimeter perhaps, but above all, play your game.
Oh, he'll let one go deep for Higgins. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. He's had trouble finding open receivers all game, CD, and that's because really there hasn't been any. This defense has been all over them.
Yeah, they're one of the better defenses in the league, and every time I talk to someone around the NFL, they all say the exact same thing. They're so fundamentally sound, it's hard to execute against them.
Open man is Uzama, and they're able to get this one across the 35.
That was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Burrow going to give this to Mixon. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
Meanwhile, Burrow's throw pulled in by Tate. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going. A little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now at the 36. Now Burrow. That's caught by his tight end Uzama. 7 yards the pickup there. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Three yards remain for second down. They go back to the ground now with Mixon. And this Browns defense coming to life. They get him behind the line for a second straight play. 2 yards the loss, and now they go from 2nd and 2 to a tough 3rd and 4.
I think it's pretty evident we can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. It looks like a nickel set now for the Browns on 3rd down. Now it's Burrow. He's going to have the hook up here to Chase. And he is going to have the Bengals first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And that'll be incomplete. The passing windows are just not there. That's just another example of how great this defense has been all game long.
And that's exactly what a top 10 defense can do. They can really change the game tempo and frustrate you as you try to execute offensively.
3rd quarter of a tight football game as we come up on a 2nd and 10. A handoff to Mixon. And just a couple yards there down to the 17.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
On 3rd down, Burrow. And that is incomplete.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow him to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let him get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up 4th. And Gostkowski's kick is good. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So a decent drive there to start the 3rd quarter. They only salvaged 3 out of it, but they inch a bit closer.
Yeah, but still lots of time to go in this one. That's why you hear that clapping on the sidelines, right? Hey, got some points. As you said, inching their way back in. Time left to go out and get that victory.
And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down officially at the 21. All right, gearing up for another drive here. Austin Hooper trots back out. And some of his highlights here from this game, he's nearing 100 yards, partner.
And defenses have worked so hard at how to try to slow down tight ends. It was a lot easier, partner, in the old days, because they just lined up on the line of scrimmage. You either put a defensive end or a linebacker over and tried to body them so they couldn't get off the line of scrimmage easy.
And now?
Now, when they split out, detach from the line of scrimmage, you put a linebacker out there. They're often too elusive for them. Shake them and get into the secondary too easily before someone else can try and pick them up.
Fighting through. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line.
They ain't got a chance, boys. They ain't got a chance.
We don't talk about it very often, but sometimes there's a dip in intensity when you start the second half, which can manifest itself in some sloppy tackling. And how about right there? He ran right through that weak tackle attempt.
First down, Mayfield. And it's nearly an interception, but it's incomplete. Well, a turnover really would have helped him there, but not to be. Huge article in their local paper this morning saying how the 4 interceptions last week led them to that victory. Here they haven't been able to come up with one, and they're losing. Probably not a coincidence.
I don't think so at all. I think you're spot on, but maybe they put a little extra pressure on themselves because the 4 interceptions last week, victory. Right now, no interceptions in this game. Had a chance for one, missed it, and they're losing. Probably feeling the pressure right now.
And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme, and you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
On 1st and 10, Mayfield finds a seam inside the 40. And finally taken down at the 34.
Let's go, get inside. Let's go, let's go.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they've put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up 1st and 10. A give. This is Chubb. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. 44 yards on the ground for him so far.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
2nd down, here's Chubb again. And down inside the 15 he goes.
We got this. I'm ready to take over, baby. And the Browns first down.
And they won't be able to run another play. Time has expired on this third quarter. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Cincinnati. It's the Browns football, and they've got the lead here as we start quarter number 4. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. A run for Nick Chubb. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1.
I think there's a fatigue factor that's kicking in defensively. You know the will is still strong, but I think the offense is starting to bend it just a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's looked that way. We'll see if they can continue this already strong drive. So 1st and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Chubb will score. Touchdown, Cleveland. Well, that makes this a 2-score ball game. And, you know, the way this thing has been going, Charles, 2 scores kind of feels like 3 or 4 scores.
Yeah, that's a great observation. It's been a heck of a battle, hasn't it? And points have been at a premium throughout this game. So you have to wonder, is this going to be too much for them to overcome?
Now Parkey for the extra point. It's good, and it's 21-10. So that drive in total 8 plays. And Nick Chubb the one to finish it off as he does so with a touchdown run. Now after the score, it's Parkey on to kick it away. Phillips, he's not going to bring this one out, so they will begin the drive at the 25. The Bengals set to take over. And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, you know, they trail by 2 scores here in the 4th quarter. This drive becomes very critical. Burrow going to lead up the Bengals here, 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. He'll hand it off here. This is Mixon, and he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. They're passing here. Joe Burrow. This goes out wide for Mixon.
This possession means so much for them. They've got to focus on this drive and find a way to make this a one-possession game.
Yes.
Got to get a score.
Yeah, so good with a field goal. Don't necessarily need a touchdown. On 1st and 10, Joe Burrow. Looking right sideline, but it's incomplete.
They've got to give out a little applause on that play. It has to go to the defense. More good work by them. They've taken away the passing lanes all game long, and you can see the frustration that it's causing because he just about threw that one into the first row.
Open man is Chase, complete. And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. Now the Bengals on 3rd down. They have been superb. 5 for 6 to this point. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And he's got a first down as he's up to the 48. Now, yes, a 2-possession game, but a good chunk of time on the clock, so they have the ability still there to run it on 2nd and short, but maybe they need to pick it up a bit.
You're right. They did pick up the first down there, but as you mentioned, they have to pick up the pace now because it's a 2-possession game. They've got to get there twice to make sure they have a chance to win.
Clock running, under 4 to play now as they come up on 1st and 10. From the shotgun, it's Burrow. He sets to fire deep. That's to Chase. He's got it. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
You ain't gonna burn me.
Jamar Chase, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Bengals have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. If there was one knock on Joe Burrow coming out of LSU, it was arm strength, but kind of put those doubts to rest right there.
And I'm telling you, nothing will light up a crowd more than a play like that. Here in the stadium, all eyes were on the receiver streaking downfield, and you know everyone was thinking, throw it, he's open. What a connection there for the touchdown.
And the final number on Next Gen Stats, how about this? 71 yards through the air. Here we go now as we get set for a big 2-point conversion. And Burrow's going to look to throw for it. And this is caught. They got it. And that could be an important 2 points. It gets them back within a field goal. Well, I guess the coach looked at the 2-point cheat sheet, said go for it, get it to a 3-point game, and they did it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just throw out time of game. You don't worry about that. There's just a feel sometimes in making that call, and he felt good about what he had for a 2-point conversion, and now they're only down 3 and feeling great about themselves.
Gostkowski now after the touchdown. He'll send this one away. Peoples-Jones returning. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So here are the Browns to take over. They've gone 2 months without a loss, 8 straight wins for them. And they've got the lead here in this one as well, trying to make it 9 in a row. Mayfield going to lead the Browns up now, 1st and 10 at their own 24. He'll start things off with a handoff to Chubb. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. 78 yards rushing for him now on what was his 10th carry of the ball game.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with, and throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. On the ground, it's Chubb. Tackle made that time by Mike Hilton, former Steeler. Now the objective there, I mean, yes, the positive gain, that's nice, but work some clock.
Yeah, you're exactly right, but the problem for them is still within a possession, so they can't just sit on it running the ball. They'll have to find a way to throw it effectively as well.
They'll try and wind down some clock with Chubb, and a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42.
And this is an absolutely big third down that's been set up here, partner, and there's no other way to put it. The defense has to get a stop here if they have any hopes of winning this game.
Has to. You said big third down. I'd put the word big in capital letters here. This is 3rd and 2. Maybe the biggest play in this football game. They'll run for it. Here's Chubb. And he's going to have a first down on a gain of about 10, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. So the Browns in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. An opening there on that first down run as he gets this forward for about 8 or 9. That looks to be 8 officially, so 2nd and 2. Mayfield hands it off to Chubb. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36.
Here we go.
Whistles now and a timeout.
Here we go.
So defensively they burn it here with 1:51 left. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. Boom! Still fighting through tackles. Now the Bengals going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. They run. Chubb. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves them with 2 to go on 2nd down.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. Chubb. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. Now, I'm assuming they're keeping this football on the ground, right?
I would think so because you're looking at the clock. That's in your favor. You're looking at the geography of the field, right? Where you are, that's in your favor as well.
And he's across for the touchdown. And in the final minute, that should just about seal it.
And that touchdown should make you feel comfortable. But do you really feel like it's totally over yet?
Not totally, but I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah, you still got to make sure you stay with it, do all the right things down the stretch, especially on defense. But that touchdown there, you got to feel good about your chances.
Now Parkey for the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. A 10-play drive that time. And Nick Chubb, the one to finish it off, as he does so with a touchdown run. Now after the score, it's Parkey on to kick it away. Phillips, he's not going to bring this one out, so they will begin the drive at the 25. So Burrow and the Bengals down by 10, 47 seconds remaining. It's an extremely tall order in front of them, but they've got the ball with a first down.
Here we go. Single receiver. Hey, you're 11.
Now Burrow. Pass complete to Higgins. And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32. Now the Bengals urging everybody to get back to the line of scrimmage. Connecting with Mixon. And he's going to pick up a first down here as that clock continues to run. Burrow. And a dangerous throw there as that's knocked down and incomplete.
Passing lanes, tough to come by with so many defensive backs on the field here late in the game. And it's not just the number of bodies, it's their quickness and their agility that makes it tough to complete a pass.
Now Burrow loses the football. Well, Charles, it's great to win at home in the NFL. When you win on the road, it's a little extra special, isn't it?
It is because, let's face it, in most cases, you're not expected to go on the road and win in the National Football League. It just doesn't usually compute. So to get out there, get that done, and then head back to your city with one in the victory column, oh, that's a fantastic feeling.
So for Cleveland, the train just keeps rolling 9-0 now to start this campaign. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to New England to take on the Patriots. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, their season is on life support somewhat now at 3-6. And they're going to get an extra week to stew over this as they're not back in action until week 11.